All right, what's going on? It's Bobby Skinner talking Giants with your Week 4 offensive line report. Giants didn't win this game, obviously, but man, the offensive line continues to look strong, right? At least pass blocking wise, right? Where they're not, putting Daniel Jones on his ass. They weren't credited for a sack or a QB hit, so some good stuff there. Now the run game weaknesses, I do want to go through that, right? Going to do a segment on why didn't the run game work. And then we'll see what else we get to. But we're going to start off with the Andrew Thomas versus the Micah Parsons matchup, because I love this matchup. I truly look forward to it. It's a good place to be with Andrew Thomas, where you get to look forward to a best versus best matchup. And I think Thomas won this, right? And this was you're watching the plays right now. This is the most we've gotten of this matchup, right? If you've been watching these online reports, since Micah Parsons was drafted, we've barely gotten this, right? The first year Parsons was on the Cowboys, he played basically only stacked linebacker versus the Giants. They just didn't get a lot of matchups, right? They just put Parsons on other guys. So it was fun to get this matchup, and I think Thomas won it. A great bounce back game after the Myles Garrett game last week. So let's get into it. Please make sure to like and subscribe. These type of videos are what grew the channel, and it's what makes them go. It's the lifeblood. Let's get into it. But before we're going to get into the Parsons matchup, there's a few plays against not Micah Parsons where there's such ass-kicking reps that I had to put him in there, right? Just like, let's show off how good this guy is when he's not going up against a top 3 edge in the NFL of Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons. So first play on this, just patience. You don't want to get upfield? Fine. I'm going to get my hands on you. You want to work inside? Okay, my feet are quick. You want to work back outside? I'll get my hands locked on you, my feet moving. I mean, just ass-kicking rep right there. Bam! Get the ball out to Malik Neighbors. Next play. Oh, you want to work inside? That's sick, dude. That's really cool. You want to get your hands up? Right? Look how he just glides out of his stance. Just 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2, 3. We get to that third step. Pass rusher is like, oh, I'm not going to beat Andrew Thomas around the corner. I'm going to beat him inside. Okay. I mean, watch Thomas take this right foot and just place it down. Right? You have nowhere to go. You got a 3-way go, and you got nowhere to go. He works inside. We keep our feet moving. He wants to put his hands up. Put him on his ass. Beg for a holding call because you got your ass kicked. Next play. Watch this linebacker. Bam. Maybe hit that hole, Devin Singletary. I mean, we're checking with our tight end. This linebacker wants to fill, crash down. Bam. Right? Just, I'm stronger than you. Get that undersized linebacker shit out of here. Now the Micah Parsons matchup. This is where it gets really fun. So first play, obviously, Micah Parsons with his wide alignment. All right, we get out of our stance. 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2, 3. This is the proportion we want with the rusher. Take away the angle. Parsons goes to attack the punch. Thomas lands himself a nice punch. Keep your feet moving. Now, Parsons gets around the corner fairly well, right? Like, he bends this pretty well. This is where Thomas is strong, right? And we saw this, these plays last week versus Garrett, where he's just so freaking strong where he can bend and just stay up. But if you're going to bend the corner like this and you have this angle, Thomas is going to put you in the dirt. Right? And unfortunately, we don't get to see the finish of this because of the camera angle. But if you're going to bend like that with this angle, Thomas is, bam, dirt. Dirt. Remember Robert Quinn matchup? Dirt. Next play. It's easy, right? We glide out of our stance. Parsons wants to work hand moves. Bam. Right? Don't let him attack our hands. We work that circle technique. Now we've locked hands, right? Remember the Myles Garrett snap last week? Lock hands with him. He wants to try and counter inside. We take our post foot, put it down. Good stuff. Next play, right? Parsons wants to work power, right? Speed the power. Absorb it. And hey, Parsons, man, he can generate some power, right? Like, watch this knockback, right? He's got knockback power, right? But Thomas, good job duck walking. Sink his ass. Strain. Good job landing your punch on this too, right? On the shoulder pads, controlling that block. You get some help from Runyon here, but this is a really good job by Andrew Thomas. Next play. Let's get him around the corner. Right? This is not perfect. Right? This is not a great rep, but it's a good enough rep. And when you're putting together the plays that you just put up, right, and the plays that we're going to go through versus a guy like Micah Parsons, a good enough rep is fine, right? If we were facing some mid-pass rusher, I don't like any good enough reps, but this is good. All right, so we set. Now, you don't want to get beat inside by Micah Parsons, and we're going to see why, right? He attacks you inside. But ideally, right, we're reading off this second step. Instead of opening up our hips right here, you'd like to set. But because this is a 3rd and 9, you know this is a 3-step drop, ball's getting out quick, you live with it, right? Like if you're gonna let him beat you, you're gonna let him gather around the corner. But this is where the athleticism of Andrew Thomas takes over, right? Because this is not a good spot when you are facing against Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons against 99% of tackles is flattening this out and hitting the quarterback. But this is where the athleticism takes over, right? And it reminded me watching some rookie Andrew Thomas tape against Myles Garrett in 2020, where he would just cheat inside because he was getting beat inside, and then he just was like trusting his athleticism to wash the guys around the corner, and he was doing it. He did it to Myles Garrett, but he obviously not trying to live like that. So we set, get him around the corner, but now we do trust our athleticism, right? We trust our length to keep our hands on him, and we just let the athleticism take over and wash him around the pocket, right? Wash him around the pocket at 9-10 yards. Right? Parsons usually takes this angle, man. He's getting flat, right? He's getting flat. He's at this hash mark. Instead, we're working him around the corner. That's good. That's awesome stuff right here. Now, here's where Parsons got a couple wins versus Andrew Thomas. Right? Not this play. Sorry. Next play. Get some help from Devin Singletary here. Good job by Thomas. Protect the inside. Lead him into that chip. All right, so you don't get too much credit for that, Andrew Thomas, but a good job. Now here's the outside, the working inside that Micah Parsons did. Obviously line wide. Right, you just see the quickness of Parsons, right? We're plant off that right foot, work inside. Now you have Runyon's help here, which is nice. Offensive line working as a unit, 5 as 1. But good, this is a good job, right? 1, 2, right? So we're getting to that 3rd step like we talked about, and Parsons just does a great job timing it up, right? So he's got these quick feet. And Parsons, not a lot of rushers. Like, look at, Lawrence on the other side, right? He's got his outside foot up. Parsons keeps his outside foot back, and that allows him to work inside off of his 3rd step, right? So as Thomas, who's got quick feet, but Parsons has quick feet too, is landing his 3rd step, well, Parsons is planting off of his 3rd step, right? So when Thomas goes to push off this 3rd step, Parsons is here, right? He's here. So ideally, you would like to be pushing off that step right here, and then you take your right you push. Let me slow down. You push off your left foot, and then you take your right foot, and you try and either drop, pick it up and put it down right here to cut off the inside move, or you drop it back to where you're horizontal. What you don't want to do is drop your inside foot all the way back like this, like an open gate, right? Like you've now become a swinging gate, and now you've given the rusher an angle at the quarterback, right? That's not what you want to do, right? Go back to that, that second play that we went through. That gives Parsons the angle there. Runyon's there to help. Very similar next play. Right, now this time, this isn't just Parsons being really good. This is Thomas oversetting. Barely, but he did overset, right? First step, second step. We're in a good spot right here, right? You're supposed to read off of this second step. Thomas has talked about this. He's reading off this second step, right? We're not just automatically getting the 3 steps or at pass rushers time you up. So at this point, you need to be patient, right? I know he's fast. He wants to get around that corner, so you want to get to that third step. But we take that third step, and we're taking that third step as he's pushing off, right? He's working inside, and again, swinging gait, right? Right foot drops back. Thankfully, once again, run is there. DJ slides, moves in the pocket, delivers a nice throw to Wan'Dale Robinson. But that was a third down. Now here, this is a stunt, but it's still the same thing. Like, it shows how you can do it better. Right, first step, second step. So we're taking that third step, but now we're pushing off of that step while Parsons is working inside. So now that we're doing that, now watch where the right foot ends up. We're basically horizontal, right? Perfect world, you would drop it at a 45-degree angle this way. But we're essentially horizontal, right? That cuts off the move. That cuts off the move, and it's a stunt anyways. You do a good job passing it off. So some good stuff there. And then here in the run game, right? These aren't ass-kicking reps, but they're really good reps. Right? Let's watch the feet. We want to have quick feet. We want to have short steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. We land our punch. Good placement. Inside the shoulder pads. High hand. Low hand to torque out. Strain up through your hips. Keep your feet moving. And we're starting here, right? Parsons is inside the hash. We're working him outside the hash. That's a really good snap. That's a really good play there by Andrew Thomas. Let's do it again. Patient, right? A lot of guys get overeager, and we're actually going to see Thomas get overeager in the last play. Right? Now we keep our posture. We don't lean. We land our punch with good placement. We keep our feet moving. Reset the edge. Next play, same thing. Again, are we total domination, Trent Williams, widen the guy out to the numbers? No, but we're doing a good job. Okay, we got quick feet, short steps, good punch, strain, not leaning where you lose balance and he sheds you inside. Good stuff. Here on a little RPO, Jones takes the P in the RPO, but you got hey, this is not your most planned left tackle versus edge, but you got Parsons lined up as a stack. He's rushing inside. Bang, right? Watch him pop that helmet back. Bam. Right, if we hand that off, we're running right off of Thomas on this. And this is the play that Parsons got and that we all saw. Right? A little overeager, right? Watch Thomas's head dip, right? Because this is a weak zone. We got to get out there. We got a little wider splits. All right, you got to get out there and move. We put our head down. He beats us inside. He makes the play. All right, we talk about it, right? You want to get out there and move, but you got to keep your posture about you. Now, on paper or on a whiteboard, Runyon should be helping you with this, because if Parsons works inside, Runyon can pick this up. Thomas works to the linebacker. But I think they have these wide splits because they really trust Thomas to win this. And if he keeps his posture about him, right, when he works inside, you just flip your hips and work him down, and then Tracy can work off of you into the alley, and then he gets to work off of these two blocks here. So awesome matchup, right? I look forward to this matchup. Parsons is going to win some in the future. Thomas I think is going to win the battle more often than not, though. I think he's that level of player, and you gain a respect for a guy like Myles Garrett after seeing what he was able to do last week. So Good stuff, man. I really, really enjoy breaking down this matchup every time. Cover your mouth. A chill is in the air. Leaves falling to the ground in football every weekend. That's what fall is all about. You can make each weekend even more exciting by getting to the action with our partners at DraftKings. Number one place to bet on touchdowns. Cover your mouth. They can steal your bets. Right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will instantly get $200 in bonus bets when you use code WORLD. Stand on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets to bet anytime touchdowns on DraftKings Sportsbook. Hide your mouth. Cover your mouth. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code WORLD and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code WORLD only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Hide your promo code. Just kidding. Share the promo code. Promo code WORLD. Promo code WORLD. You'll be glad you did. All right, we're going to finish it off going through 6 of the runs. And, they handed the ball off to the running backs 19 times. They ran into stacked boxes 16 out of 19 times, which is something the Giants were kind of avoiding the first 2 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, they have been very willing to do it, which, hey, I do think to be a good running team, you got to be able to run into stacked boxes. I just think they're going about it the wrong way. They're trying to be a zone team, and they're just not. Like, these 3 guys on the inside are not good at it. They get pushed back. They're not athletic enough. And they should be leaning into the duo runs, right? If you watch the week 2 O-line report, right, duo, right? And I'm going to break it down of, like, let's look at it if they ran duo against us and see, what would be different. It's just easier, and it brings a more physical, it allows you to work on your physicality, which is what I think the interior is, more so than athletic. So let's get into it. First play. This is going to end up being a 4-yard run. They're going to run weak zone. You got the fullback. Ends up being a 4-yard run, so not awful. All right, so we shift the fullback, trying to get them to bump down. They do. We're going to run weak zone. All right, so Thomas is out here. Runyon and JMS are from here to here. Van Roten and Elmanor to the backside, and then the fullback up here. And then, Manhertz, and then you have the unblocked guy because it's a stacked box. Now, I actually think this was one of the better block plays, except for, and this is how you can see one guy can mess up the run, except for John Michael Schmitz. Right, like, let's pause it right here. Right? Good job. Good job. Really good job by the fullback. Good job by these 2. This is a really good job, except for our center. We're getting blown up. Why are we snapping the ball and our hand is coming out like that? If you're leaving, your chest's exposed. So this defensive tackle gets in your chest. He's got leverage on you. And I know why, right? He's trying to get across his face. But you gotta fire through his chest, right? You gotta fire through his chest. And now he's driven you back. And you're in the running back's lap. Right? If you had just... say, hey, you play through your technique. Play with a low pad level. Shoot your hands into his chest. All right, let's say that you're not able to get across his face, right? What I mean by that is having your helmet on this side and having that leverage. Let's just say you don't get there where you want. Okay, then you get in his hip and you push, and if you're not in the running back's lap, well, guess what? He's able to cut off the inside, and that's the beautiful thing of zone. We got ourselves a decent little run, and it ends up being 4 yards, but instead we get pushed back, right? So there's a negative run. Next play, we're going to run weak zone again. This ends up being a 2-yard run. Thomas does a good job. John Runyon does a decent job. JMS, man, we're trying to get across 93's face. We're trying to flip our hips. Instead, we're just not athletic enough to get across there. Right? And he's squeezing us. Right? He's squeezing us. And now the good job that Thomas is doing has been mitigated. Van Roten's working up to the right guard. And I don't know what Eleanor is doing. Right? So not only James, like, we got missed assignments. What is Eleanor doing? We're going the wrong way. Hey, I'm really happy with Eleanor, right? But it shows just one mental mistake how it could screw it up. And this is one of the light boxes that they got, right? 6 versus 6. But this is why I like the duo concept. Like, let's pretend this was duo, right? Which is creating double teams across the front. And so let's just say this. You got Thomas. He's going to be one-on-one out here. You're going to have to put the fullback, the tight end one-on-one. You double team these two in the linebacker. You double team these two in the linebacker. Singletary reads the A gap. I just feel like that suits this team better. Because even if Eleanor makes his block, like, that's not a good job by JMS. Next play. We got the fullback in. We're going to run wide zone. JMS actually does a really good job on this, right? He gets upfield. He turns his shoulders, right? He turns this one tech's shoulders. But Runyon takes a bad angle to this. And he's in his back hip. Instead of, like, JMS set it up for you, right? You should be here and then flipping your hips, right? You should be here. But instead, now he's part of the play. Greg Van Roten doesn't do a very good job. Doesn't do an awful job, but doesn't do a very good job. JMS doesn't get off to the linebacker quick enough. Jakob Johnson cuts this back up. Our tight end gets beat inside. We get a 0-yard run. Right? Just lots of mistakes across the front. Right? Runyon not getting across. JMS not picking up the linebacker. Van Roten letting his guard his D-line 2-gap on him. And it's against a stacked box. So this linebacker's flying downhill. Actually, is it a stacked box? No, it's an even box. Sorry. So again, even versus these light boxes, because you got 7 versus 7. You're getting this. I mean, it's just a mess. Right? You have a light box, right? Let's get a one-on-one right here. Let's run ISO. Let's run weak side ISO, right? One-on-one right here. These two to the linebacker. These two to the linebacker, and you get the fullback one-on-one here. Like, let's take care of the first level, right? That is what Carm Brasso liked to do with the Raiders. That is what they did in week 2, where they ran duo 60% of the time. Let's take care of the first level, because when you don't, you get stuffed. Again, does it when you run those plays, do you set yourselves up for these long cutback runs? No. But what you don't do is get your running game off schedule and your offense off schedule. Next play, we're gonna run counter, and we just do an awful job at it. Missed assignments, bad blocks, and we get a 1-yard run. So counter, we're going to have, it's, GH counter. So the guard is going to be the kick out block, and then Bellinger is going to be the lead block on this. Right? So the guard is supposed to kick out here, and then Bellinger leads up here, and then you have everyone else blocking down. Right? So let's break it down. Good job by Thomas, right? Let's go one by one. Good job by Andrew Thomas. Doesn't finish great, but like that should be a good enough block. Now let's go through John Runyon and John Michael Schmitz. John Michael Schmitz has this backside A gap. That should be his priority. The only way he should not be blocking this player is if he jumps into this gap, and then we're working to this linebacker. Right? But this D lineman doesn't do that, so we should be getting on his outside shoulder, right, and pinning him down, and that would allow John Runyon to work to this linebacker, but instead JMS goes to the backside of this for some reason. Right? To try and block Jermaine Elmanore's guy. Right? Elmanore does his job, hinging on the backside. Right? So now that leaves this linebacker free. Theo Johnson should be protecting the backside. He's kind of sitting around. And then Greg Van Roten does a bad job pulling. Right? Get flat. Get flat and get to his inside shoulder. And get through him. Get to his inside shoulder. Instead, we're giving it to him. We're allowed, unless we're planning to cut the, you know, like this Penei Sewell type blocks where you want to bounce it out, but that's not what Tracy's doing, so that's not what it is. Why are we giving him this? Why are we letting him spill inside? So now we don't know who's blocking who. Bellinger turns up and is like, I gotta block somebody. Like this is a mess, dude. That is a mess of a run play. Like, basically, one guy did his job, and it wasn't even that great. Next play. That's really bad. Inside zone. I mean, JMS just gets beat, man. We're going into a stack box. I mean, we literally, you know, we have 8 guys in the box. Excuse me, not a stack box. I'm tripping right now because we have 8 blockers and then 8 guys. All right, so we're running into an 8 versus 8 front, and we get over eager, right? Because we want to get across here, and we just get beat. We just get flat out beat. Right? We just get flat out beat, JMS. Our tight end gets squeezed down on the backside. That's not great. Instead of Jermaine Elmanore, you know, stepping in and trying to pin this player out, we hinge block like we're on the backside of the run. So now the fullback's going to take our block. I mean, this is a mess, dude. Make it simple, man. Duo, like, let's back it up. I know that you have the fullback in here, so it's not, but like, you know, 1, 2 for here, 2 for here, 2 for here, 1 for here. He's the unblocked player. You put the fullback on here. Make it simple. Take care of the first level, and you get positive runs instead of negative 3-yard runs. And then this last one, I mean, they run weak zone. Thomas gets beat. Right? We talked about this on the Andrew Thomas portion, so we don't need to spend too much time on it. But you know, we trust Thomas one-on-one, but in reality, our guard should be checking on this. Right? Our guard should be checking on this. Right. I like trusting Thomas one-on-one, but our guard should be checking on this. And guess what? Our center isn't doing a great job. Right? So this D lineman's flowing with it. So this is a mess of a run game. Right? And it shouldn't be. Because they're not incapable of running the ball. But they're just not a zone team. They're not a zone team. If you start duoing, guess what? Guys are going to stop flowing with plays, right? They're not going to be looking to flow. They're going to be looking to stance out. The running linebackers are going to get downhill, and then you can do some of that stuff, right? But until you can do that consistently, you need to be a man run team, right? Big on big. That's what this Giants offensive line and this Giants run game needs to do. Find an identity as a run offense and lean into it. And you're not a team that's going to run into stack boxes 16 out of 19 times. So Hope you guys enjoyed this O-line report. We will see you when we see you. Until then, let's go Big Blue.